हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगुणगुणान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगुणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। Hare Krishna. Okay, so we are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 3, Text number 8. Sati uvacha. Did I say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya? No. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 सती उवाच प्रजापतेस्ते स्वसुरस्य साम्प्रतम् निर्यापितो यज्ञमहोत्सवखिला वयं च तत्र विसराम वामते यदि अर्तिथामि विबुधा व्रजन्ति प्रजापतिस्ते स्वसुरस्य साम्प्रतम् निर्यापितो यज्ञमहोत्सवखिला वयं च तत्र विसराम वामते यदि अर्तिथामि विबुधा व्रजन्ति सती उवाच प्रजापतस्ते स्वसुरस्य साम्प्रतम् निर्यापितो यज्ञमहोत्सवखिल वयं च तत्र विसराम वामते यदि अर्तिथामि विबुधा व्रजन्ति Sati Uvacha. Sati said, Prajapate of Daksha, Te, your Swasurasya, of your father-in-law, Sampratam, nowadays, Niryapitaha has been started. Yagya Maha Utsavaha, a great sacrifice. Kila, certainly, Vayam, we, Cha, and Tatra, there, Abhisarama, may go, Vama, O my dear Lord Shiva, Te, your, Yadi, if, Arthita, desired, Ami, these, Vibudha, demigods, Vrajanti, are going, he, because. Translation purport by Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Abhay Charanaravind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sati said, my dear Lord Shiva, your father-in-law is now executing great sacrifices and all the demigods having been invited by him are going there. If you desire, we may also go. Purport. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Sati knew of the tension between Sati knew of the tension between her father and her husband, but she still expressed to her husband, Lord Shiva, that since such sacrifices were going on at her father's house and so many demigods were going, she also desired to go. But she could not express her willingness directly, and so she told her husband that if he desired to go, then she could also accompany him. In other words, she submitted her desire very, very politely to her husband. Again, Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Janatarinam Paramanamalam Shri Chaitanyeshwar. So, by nature, we are living entities and we are part of Krishna says that there are two energies. There is the inferior, there is apara prakriti and para prakriti. So Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita that since Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and we are all part and parcel of Krishna, so therefore we also have to some extent we have some tendencies or qualities of Krishna. And of course, in the spiritual world, all the qualities of Krishna and Krishna's dear devotees, they are exhibited in the pure state. But in the material world, these qualities are exhibited in the impure state. So this desire to control, uh, it is ultimately purely in the pure state, it is coming from Krishna. Krishna controls his devotees by his pure love for them. And he also allows his devotees to control him by their love. So, in this world, the way that is reflected is that we control others, or living entities control others. I control others by lust, and I allow others to control me, or someone allows others to control them by others' lusty desires. So, I mean, lust does not just mean the gross form, but the subtle form. So, lust means the ego, the body, the mind, these things are in the center, and love means only Krishna is there. So, we can say that Krishna is in the center, but actually there is nothing except Krishna. There is, when it comes to love, there is nothing except Krishna. Only Krishna is there. There is nothing, no one else, and nothing else which exists. So the Brajvasis, they have so much infinite love for Krishna that they actually are only conscious of Krishna. They are not conscious of themselves. They are not thinking that how will I maintain, how what will be my schedule, what will be my future. The Vrajvasi's only consciousness is service of Mahaprabhu. I mean, sorry, is the service of Krishna. So it's a very, very lofty idea, a lofty philosophy, and a lofty prospect. But in this world, it's very important to understand that our desires can never be fulfilled. Yesterday, Sri Subhinandan Prabhu mentioned so nicely that how this material world is simply a place for suffering. Even though enjoyment may be there, but enjoyment simply increases the prospect of the suffering. It's just like, I mean, it's quite an interesting example. So, um, suppose what is the difference between a person who is in a prison and a person who is outside? So a person who is in the prison, he's suffering, he's been suffering for so many years, but now after some time what happened, he became used to that suffering. But someone outside in this world, he is so much used to the comforts, and so when he gets some suffering in his life, when he gets some disturbance, then that becomes a cause of greater anxiety than someone who is already suffering. Or for example, like it's like my spiritual master gives this amazing example. So he says, this is the way Maya works. I'm just quoting him. So he says, the way Maya works is Maya will give you the prospect, the full directory of how much you can enjoy. And then one will start planning and planning and planning how he will enjoy. So now the ego is fully satisfied, the mind is ready, everything is, intelligence is just waiting for that enjoyment. But then, and when once your desire becomes like really intense to enjoy and you become really eager and really happy, Maya will just take that enjoyment away, and at that same moment, she will give you a big tight slap or a big kick. So in that way, you will become completely depressed beyond any beyond any limit. So that is a problem. So that's why this Gosha Prabhu says, I take the blessings of all the devotees. I'm sorry. Take the blessings of all the devotees, especially His Grace Gosha Prabhu. So Maya basically tells us The purpose of Maya is to tell us that, hey, don't try to enjoy anything in this world. You know, just try to become a pure devotee. And then Maya is telling us that I will make all wonderful arrangements for you to actually live happily in this world. So don't, Maya is telling us, don't, live like Hiranyakashipu. Don't try to enjoy things in this world. Just try to use everything for Krishna's service. So all desires in this material world can never be fulfilled. That we should know very clearly. We should have no doubt about that. We may not be pure devotees, we may have material desires, but at least in our activities, we shouldn't embrace material desires. We shouldn't act on material desires. At least we should have act on the platform of knowledge. Krishna says one who has knowledge is someone whose every action is devoid of the desire for sense gratification. So we should not act out of the desire for sense gratification. At least, to the gross and at least to some extent, we should not act. So if we do act, then we are telling Krishna that Krishna, I want to enjoy in this world. I don't want to come to you. I want to struggle. So Krishna is very kind. Prabhupada says Krishna is very kind. And Krishna says, sure, please keep enjoying. Because Krishna is Atma Rama. On one hand, he is feeling our separation. He is feeling that my part and parcel is not coming to me. It's very painful to him. But at the same time, Krishna also gives us the full independence. So, coming now, jumping into this episode, so Sati is asking her husband for whether she can go or she cannot go. So in this, Prabhupada is saying she submitted her desire very politely to her husband. So this is very good. This is very good. Actually, you see in the following verses that she ends up going, even though she's warned by Shiva not to go. So first thing is the biggest problem in bhakti is, I'm sorry, the biggest problem in bhakti is that I should not say problem, but the best thing we can do in Krishna consciousness is we have to define our relationships very clearly. If you define your relationship very clearly, you will have no problem. So the most important person to whom we have to define our relationship is Guru, Shiksha Guru, and authority. And what does it mean to define a relationship? Define a relationship means, as Prahlad Maharaj is saying in the seventh canto, that Brahmachari Gurukule Vasan Dhantam Guror Hitam. So one should be very humble and he should live for the benefit of the Guru. He should trust the Guru as his dearmost friend, one who desires his dearmost, topmost uh, welfare. So you have to define your relationship with your Diksha, Shiksha, authority like that. So when you define a relationship like that, then whatever they say, you will do. You will do. Because unless we take that humble position before our seniors, those who wish well for us, how is it possible for Krishna to speak through them? Even if Krishna wants to speak, and if Krishna speaks, but if we reject them, if we try to argue with them, put our opinion before them, then that means actually we are not accepting them. We are not taking their real shelter. So this is a very important principle in Krishna consciousness, that if in front of our Shiksha Guru or whoever we want to take guidance, if you want to take guidance from anyone, if you want to take guidance, and if you start dictating to that person or if you start arguing with that person, actually, His Grace Luxor Prabhu was telling one time that one devotee went to Ranath Maharaj and said something. Maharaj was telling something, and he just very slightly he tried to what is it? He tried to present his point of view, and he's tried to. It was not even a discussion. It was not even an argument. It was just a discussion, very mild. Immediately, Maharaj said, "You can do whatever you like to do." So that devotee, of course, was feeling very bad. But the point is that, of course, later Maharaj, helped that devotee, instructed the devotee. But the point is that in the heart, if we maintain the slightest desire to control, the slightest desire to instruct, then immediately we're taking that person out from the position of our authority and putting him in the position of, okay, you are my equal, you are my friend, or even worse, you are my junior. You listen to me. So, so we have to be very, very careful, very careful. So there are different kinds of disciples. This is actually a verse. The theme of this verse is Guru and disciple. So actually, the topmost disciple in all of the worlds actually is Krishna. You see the way he serves his devotees. There's no limit. There's no limit to Krishna's forgiveness. There's no limit to Krishna's how subservient he is to his devotees. And in that respect, you see that Krishna is so amazing that you see in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is telling so many things to Arjun. This is before the battle. Krishna is telling so many things to Arjun, and Krishna is saying, I am the controller, I am the maintainer, I am the supreme absolute truth. So many things. Krishna is speaking about himself. But when it comes to the battle, when Arjun's life is at stake, immediately Krishna breaks his vow. Krishna took the vow that he will not fight. And when Krishna takes a vow, it's a very serious thing. Like the whole world is watching. But Krishna just broke his vow. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what people will think about him. Even nowadays, people are criticizing Krishna. But Krishna does not care. That is the real disciple, actually. The real disciple is someone who serves his guru without caring for what others will think, what will my relatives say, what will no. The real disciple is someone who has no consideration except guru's pleasure. Right? And of course, the topmost the top of the top uh, in our sampradaya is Srimati Radharani, and her compassion for the living entities, it is her compassion only that is coming through Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. It's her compassion. So who will give the most precious thing to the most unqualified person? Who will do that? Nobody except Radharani can have that kind of compassion. And in her service to Krishna also, we have this famous pastime that one day one devotee was massaging Krishna's lotus feet, and Krishna's lotus feet, had blisters on them, and the devotee was asking Krishna, Krishna, why? What happened? And Krishna said that yes, um, someone has given boiling hot milk to Radharani, and Radharani, as soon as she heard that it's my remnants, she didn't care to consider anything. She drank that milk, and her throat is scalded, is burnt, and because she is one with my heart, so therefore the same thing is manifested on my lotus feet. So this is a topmost disciple. A topmost disciple is someone who does not consider uh, anything except the pleasure of his her guru. So it's astonishing that these personalities, Radha and Krishna, actually Radha and Krishna's qualities, even this fragment of their qualities are so attractive that any person in this world, even a materialistic person who's not a devotee, if they actually meditate, just like Rukmini, their heart will become completely sold out to both of them, because um, all their qualities are actually unlimited. There's no limit to their qualities. There's no limit to how much they exhibit their qualities, and there's no limit to whom they exhibit their qualities. They're completely unconditionally, they are ever, ever special, ever special, ever fresh, ever sweet. So anyhow, so they are setting the standard for what is real disciple. And we are following the footsteps of Brajvasis. That's what our Sampradaya is about. So, what does it mean to follow the footsteps of Brajvasis? It means to imbibe this mood, that to only to, at least to aspire for this platform, that I only want to consider the pleasure of my Lord, of Guru. And that's why we have to pray, we have to cry for this kind of mode, that a day should come in my mind, that I should forget everything, except the pleasure of uh, my lordships, for the pleasure of my Guru. I should become completely unconscious, completely disregard my own desires, my own comfort, etc., etc. Because otherwise, if we don't give it up completely, then we cannot go back to Godhead. Because going back to Godhead or attaining a spiritual body means uninterrupted service. Uninterrupted service. There's no question of stopping service. There's no question of taking a break. There's no question of thinking about myself. No, it's this continuous, uninterrupted service. So unless we have that kind of service attitude, it's so powerful. It's like example is given, like the water builds up in a reservoir, in a dam, and it becomes so powerful at one point that the floodgates of the reservoir or the dam, they're not opened, then the whole reservoir will be broken because of force of the water. So that's the way we actually come out of our bodily consciousness, is by this intense service attitude. We have to develop such an intense service attitude, which has no condition, which has no stop, which has no limit. So anyway, we know that our desires will be frustrated today or tomorrow. Right? So Sati here is asking the question, but actually there is no need to ask question. Actually, there's no need to go to one's authority or one's guru and ask for, oh, can I go to this place where I can have some sense gratification? Actually, Chandramali Maharaj made a very wonderful point, that the slightest level to which you associate yourself with the desire for sense gratification, your faith in Krishna becomes weak. Your faith. And what is faith? Faith is the most important thing. Without faith, you cannot practice even little Krishna consciousness. So that is how dangerous it is. Since Maharaj is saying it is so dangerous, so as serious devotees, we should, I mean, speaking to myself, I should completely give up the desire to enjoy separately from Krishna. Anywhere and anything where I see that, oh, in my heart, I perceive that, oh, this is an opportunity for sense gratification. As soon as I perceive that, I should immediately reject that opportunity. Because the thing is that instead of jumping into the fire and then crying for help, it's better to see that before. Prevention is better than cure. So it's because, to the extent that we are sincere and serious, to that extent Guru and Krishna will help us. So we have to be extremely sincere, extremely sincere. Otherwise, we will be cheated by Krishna. Krishna may give us a position, a huge position. Krishna may give us so many things, but Krishna will not give himself to us. Radharani will definitely not give herself to us. So we should know that we are aiming for something very, very high, very, very lofty. You know, I'm sorry for quoting this, but Shivananda Prabhu quoted this, that Prabhupada said one time. Of course, it's not a blanket statement. It's not. It can be. It can be changed also. But Prabhupada said one time that only 10% of my disciples will go back to Godhead. Others will take birth in the heavenly planets, and they have to take more time. So why did Prabhupada make this statement? Of course, I am nobody to comment about Prabhupada disciples. They are like our gurus. They're very exalted. But if you see the characteristic of those disciples who are still present now and who are, the pure devotees, you can see their standard of Krishna consciousness. You ever hear any proper disciple telling, I am going to this birthday party, I am going to Disneyland? It's like you never, I mean, at least from my, I have seen so many proper disciples, even Matajis, even ladies, they're so strict. They are so strict actually. So the one thing is for sure, I know the life of devotees, even grahastas, some grahastas, I'm very close with them. I know everything what they do. And those grahastas who I see, they don't do any sense gratification. I see the way Krishna reciprocates with them. It's just incredible. I won't say the name, but one devotee, you know, came back from came back from India, you know, and some time ago. And as soon as that devotee came, she immediately got service to their lordships. Immediately, not just within 1 hour, immediately she got some service. And that service was not signed up service, it was spontaneous service. So I was thinking that, wow, like as soon as the devotee came, Krishna immediately engaged that devotee in his service. That's how much dear that devotee is to Krishna. Not even few hours. So that's what happens when you give yourself completely to Krishna. Krishna will always wait for your service. Krishna will wait for you. Because one of the things that we always forget, regardless of the number of anarthas, is that Krishna is always watching us. I mean, Krishna is not watching us like a dictator, but Krishna is always lovingly trying to see how much actually we are doing service. But Krishna does not see it as service. Krishna sees it as love. Just like if someone comes and serves something to you, you don't see it as, oh, that person did this work for me. No, you see it as love. It's all actually expression of our love for Krishna. So coming back to the point that this is what we want to develop. So if we completely avoid any opportunity for sense gratification in our life, regardless of how fallen we may be, Krishna immediately takes that very seriously. And Krishna takes full responsibility for that devotee. Because why? Because that devotee has sacrificed everything for Krishna. Like, the gopis and Srimati Radharani, what do they personify? They personify sacrifice. We may not be able to appreciate other aspects of uh, the exalted devotees' love for Krishna, but this we can definitely appreciate, that is sacrifice. What is a sacrifice? Raghunath Das Goswami, when he was in Radha Kund, he was serving the divine couple in the spiritual world in his mind, and he became so much absorbed in that service that he did not realize anything external. His body was blistering heat. His body was burning. In Vrindavan, it's, Radha Kund, actually Guinness Book of World Records says that Radha Kund is the hottest place uh, in the entire world. I mean, that is according to science, of course. We can give many scientific reasons, but we know the reason is because of the burning separation that Radharani feels from Krishna. That's why it is the hottest, summer times the hottest. So Das Goswami was praying, serving Radharani, and he was completely unconscious of his body. And because his body was blisters and so many things, Radharani came personally, and with her odani, with her veil, she was shielding Das Goswami. So this is what happens when you sacrifice everything for Krishna. Of course, we cannot imitate, but when we sacrifice everything for Krishna's pleasure, regardless of you know who we are, where is our consciousness, how deep we are in our Krishna consciousness, then immediately Krishna responds. Krishna becomes very pleased. That's all Krishna wants, is to see is that kind of love. Like is Sripad Prabhu said mentioned one time that Krishna is doing everything he can to actually get that love out of us. So the thing is that I myself am very far and very fallen, and you all are very exalted in so many ways. I am begging the mercy of everyone, including everyone practically. And I consider myself, completely unqualified to. Even today, I was thinking that, why should I speak? My consciousness is so degraded. But, uh, but I'm just repeating the principle because the principle is very enlivening, very encouraging. So this sacrifice is what is most pleasing to Krishna and is what we can relate with. The more and more we sacrifice, our desires for sense gratification, for Krishna's absolute pleasure, Krishna become very pleased with that. Mm. Like, what is the glory of Prabhupada? And you see, Srila Prabhupada, his greatest, most amazing quality is how much Prabhupada sacrificed to please his Guru. To what extent? Now, yes, Srila Prabhupada is our Srila Prabhupada. But when Prabhupada was in Delhi, when Prabhupada was in New York, nobody even looked at Prabhupada. Prabhupada was just like a completely unknown person. Nobody cared, nobody cared. Many days Prabhupada could not sleep at night because Prabhupada did not have any food to eat. And Prabhupada sacrificed so much, just because of that one instruction of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Prabhupada gives sacrificed so much. You know, he had no place to stay, he had no money, he had no food to eat. He sacrificed his personal comfort. See, for us to sacrifice, if you do Nirjala Ekadasi, immediately, speaking for myself, become very conscious. Oh, I'm not having food to eat, I'm very weak, all these things. But think about someone at the age of 70 after having three heart attacks, sacrificing that much of sacrifice, for Krishna, for spiritual master. That shows the infinite depth of Prabhupada's love for his Guru. And that's why uh, Prabhupada disciples, they have such a deep devotion to Prabhupada. You see so many Prabhupada disciples, they are in just one temple, New Vrindavan or wherever, they've been serving for decades, 30, 40 years. I mean, just think about that. That's like inconceivable. Inconceivable. You know. So Prabhupada disciples, their love for Prabhupada and their surrender to their authority, their surrender to the situation. Not that, oh, this situation is difficult for me, so let me run away, let me go to Vrindavan, let me go to Mayapur, let me make my own arrangement so that I can be comfortable. No, they accept it without any argument. And they have been doing for so many years, so many years. That's why their bhakti is so attractive. Their bhakti is so attractive. So this sacrifice is the most pleasing thing to Krishna. Mm. And so this is a lesson for us that as much as possible, any material desire, of course, spiritual desire, we have a desire to serve, we can always express, but any desire for sense gratification, we should not, I mean, the ultimate standard, we should not even go to our authority or guru and ask for that. And very important is, if you want to become a pure devotee, you have to prove your surrender. You have to be fully surrendered soul. To the extent that you are surrendered to Guru and Krishna, to that extent you will get protection. That is very important. We may do so many things, but how much are we surrendered? That, I'm speaking to myself, that's very important. So, like whatever you do, wherever you go, to the extent that you exercise your independence, to that extent you will not make progress. If you are fully 100% dependent, you don't express any desire for sense gratification to your authority, and you just depend, just depend, then you're proving your surrender. You may, yes, we may say we're surrendered to Guru, but you have to prove that surrender by your activities. So when you prove that surrender through your, surrender to your authority, your Shiksha Guru, you prove it, then Guru become very pleased. Guru's real divinity become revealed in your heart. And of course, I'm very far, but this is the philosophy. So Guru's divinity become revealed in your heart. Guru's position, Acharya's position, Krishna's position, Radharani's position. What is the position of Bhagavatam? What is the position of Vaishnava? All this become revealed in the heart. And when revelation comes, then faith is unflinching. And when faith is unflinching, surrender is spontaneous. When surrender is spontaneous, then what? You experience spiritual emotion. You experience taste, ruchi. And then the attachment becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And we experience that nectar that we are always hankering for, that relationship, the union with the object of our love. And that is the most pleasing to the heart. Once you experience that, even you experience that once in a day, 10 seconds in a day, you experience that, then you would forget all the tapasya, all whatever inconvenience we will be taking on our body and our mind, you forget everything. If you just experience that speck of reciprocation of Krishna in your heart. So I would like to end here. Please forgive me if I spoke anything wrong, inappropriate. But yes, this is a very important episode to teach us that material desires can never, ever, ever be fulfilled. Even if you satisfy 99% of a material desire, it is still not going to satisfy you. And you can never satisfy 100% because that's just the nature of material desire. The only thing which can, you can fully satisfy is spiritual desire. Material desire, you can never satisfy fully. And that dissatisfaction will lead you to desire again, desire again, desire again, desire again, desire again. There's no end to it. Just like chasing a mirage. So, again, please forgive me. But this is a very one, at least for myself, is a very good wake up call that uh, that I have to become very serious in my Krishna consciousness. Anyone has any question or comment? Online? Yes.
Prabhuji, thank you. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, especially emphasizing on taking devotional life really seriously. The material desires will never be fulfilled, and there is no point in targeting towards that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Very, very powerful class. It's a question when you say, like material desires will never be fulfilled. When you said spiritual desires will be fulfilled, but is it an ultimate destination, or is it like, because spiritual desires also like get fulfilled, but again, like there is more and more desires come towards the spirituality.
Actually,
I'm saying when
Guruji, what I will do is there is kids camp here. So Madhaja Prabhu is saying something. I'll take his question and then I'll take your question after that. Is that okay?
Sure, Prabhu.
Guruji, what you were saying? No, we'll just finish here. It's fine. 9:15, 2 minutes. Okay. So yeah, Sister Prabhu, what you were saying? What you're saying, Sister Prabhu, can you repeat what you're saying again? Sorry, Puji. Hare Krishna, Sister Prabhu. Can you hear me?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you hear
Puji.
me?
Can you repeat again? Sorry, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
No, I'm saying thank you for the wonderful class and powerful class. When you say material desires will never be fulfilled, that's understood. But when you say spiritual desires will be fulfilled, but is that the ultimate destination? That's when all the spiritual desires fulfilled, or because we still have, desires keep growing in spirituality also, no?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah, bro.
something is
So
fulfilled
yeah,
and then it's
good
ever
question.
growing, something like
Good
that.
question. Yes, bro. To whatever extent they can be fulfilled now, they'll be fulfilled now also. And then gradually they'll be fulfilled more and more. Like, for example, taste for the holy name or taste
Mm.
in anything. So you may, someone may, Krishna may reciprocate, give a flash of reciprocation, and then Krishna will keep increasing the reciprocation to the full. So yeah, so it's like yeah, it will be fulfilled to some extent and will be fulfilled more and more. But even that little fulfillment that you get now, that will give you, will satisfy the heart. That's the important thing.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and one more
And
thing
I
also,
like,
one more
yeah,
thing also I want to clarify that the thing is that uh, um, I am speaking about the ultimate platform that we have to come to.
mm-hmm.
Of course, initially devotees, I'm not speaking for about Sachita Prabhu, the great Sachita Prabhu, but I'm saying in general that initially we have material desires and we dovetail those material desires. But I still remember, it's like this is many years ago, when I first came to Krishna consciousness, I was naturally very much, I like chocolates and all those things. Of course, I won't eat, but I would get desire. So I asked my Shiksha Guru, what do I do? What should I do? So he said, just offer it all. So I would like meditate on, offering the whole store to Krishna, all the chocolates to Krishna. Of course, I'll not buy and eat, but I'm just giving an example that, yeah, that's okay. I mean, we may have material desires initially, and those material desires may be dovetailed in Krishna consciousness. But ultimately, my point is that once we come to a stage that, yeah, this is what I want, at any cost, I want to go back to a spiritual world. I want to get a spiritual body. So then, yeah, then we have to become strict, because ultimately the strictness, why should we be strict? For the pleasure of Krishna. Strictness is not for the sake of torturing ourselves, for the strictness is not for depressing ourselves. No, it's for the pleasure of Krishna and Radharani. And we are going to get so much. We're going to get so much from, doing that. So and from our side, we want to be strict, but Krishna will always try to make us comfortable. It's just like, give you an example. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, you're very tired, you have to go to the altar, and it may be austerity. Sometimes warm water may not be there. So yes, to that extent, it's austerity, right? But after you go inside the altar, the experience you have, there Krishna intervenes and Krishna comforts, and Krishna Radharani comforts and gives such a nice experience that you forget, all the thing that you go through. So Krishna is always there to, give us his loving, assuring, very merciful kind of touch to us, experience to us. So Krishna is always there. Radharani is always there. Now, ultimately, they are the only persons who will remain there, So that's, very encouraging. So I hope that, I didn't speak anything to depress or to, kind of, reduce anyone's spirits, but yeah, just, yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Anyone has any other question or comment?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, recently I was reading in the first canto, 13th chapter, regarding the Dhritarashtra and Gandhari's departure, that they had performed Ashtanga Yoga process, and later Dhritarashtra got Brahman liberation. So, in purpose of this, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that after many such Brahman liberations,
Ah,
the one comes to the platform of devotional service,
ah,
platform of bhakti.
mm, mm,
So, okay, maybe we are now coming, doing some little devotional service. So,
mm,
we had gone through this whole yogic process, and after going through all that yogic process,
mm,
still we don't have a tinge of imprints of that, because while doing some
mm,
austerity here, still
mm,
we feel that pain, that much stretch, that
mm,
much
mm,
stress.
mm,
So,
mm.
means how we can reconcile this, Prabhupada Purpose?
Yeah, so good question. But but the thing is that, see, our process is different, Mataji. Um, yes, to some extent it is true. Prabhupada says we have performed, gone through all those. Prabhupada says that. But the point is, we have gone through means we have gone through that level of faith. It may not necessarily that we have gone through that process, but we have gone through that faith, which means you have certain amount of faith in God, you perform karma yoga, then next you perform jnana yoga, then you perform bhakti yoga, right? So, for example, karma, jnana, yoga, yeah, karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti. So we have gone through that level of faith. So since we have our faith has raised, it's not necessary for us to have perform or to perform that activity. So the thing is that, yes, so that is the thing. The main thing is the faith. The faith level has raised. It's not necessary that we actually must have done that. We have to have been a yogi. No, like you come to a pure devotee, Prabhupada, and Prabhupada will immediately elevate you. Even though you may be a karmi, Prabhupada will elevate you suddenly, quickly, to the level Prabhupada is saying that we are welcoming everyone. You come, I will make you Paramahamsa immediately, right? So the thing is that, um, like Prabhupada says many times in the purports, that if one comes across a pure devotee, one can be elevated to the highest position very quickly. So that is the understanding. So it's not necessary that we may have gone through. We may have gone through, may not have gone through, but also another very important thing about these yogic things is also it's temporary. It's temporary. So okay, we may have had a very nice body in the previous life with all the yogic things, but now we have to start from scratch again if we want that yogic perfection. you know. But the important thing that stays, Mataji, is not the physical, it's about the faith. So the faith level is what is important.
Oh, okay,
I hope.
Prabhuji. So, we just evolved in the sense of faith.
Yes. What I'm trying to say is that, more important than the actual physical thing is the faith. The faith is the most important evolvement.
Right, Prabhuji.
The physical aspect may be there, may not be there, but you know, faith is most important thing. So our faith has evolved. If you have
Hmm.
faith, I'm just giving an example. If someone has faith that Krishna will maintain you, you don't have to maintain yourself. Of course, we should not imitate, but I'm just giving an example. If you have faith that Krishna will maintain you, you don't have to maintain yourself. The only thing you have to do is to serve Krishna. So if you have that level of faith, you work with that kind of faith, your reciprocation will be very quick, very rapid. But to act with that faith, we need lot of mercy. We need to go through whatever Guru wants us to go through. You cannot imitate. But if you can act with that kind of faith, then you will become a pure devotee immediately. That's why Prabhupada says, right, how much time it takes to become a pure devotee. Prabhupada says it
Hmm.
just takes a second.
Right.
If you have that kind of faith, very quickly you can achieve that love for Krishna. But the problem is, think of myself now, prasadam time. Oh, I need to take prasadam. So I need to sleep. I need to. Why? Because I don't have that kind of faith that Krishna will maintain. But if you see the example of, Saraswati Thakur or Prabhupada, that is a kind of faith they lived on. That's why that they're in that level. Like Prabhupada saying that the goal of our society is to make eating, sleeping, mating, and defeating zero. So if some person reads that, oh no, that means no sleeping, no idlis, no prasada, you know. But yeah, that is the level.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. And Prabhuji, one more question. Like you mentioned a very big point that once Srila Prabhupada mentioned that only 10% of my devotees will go back to Godhead. So, means how we can reconcile this, Prabhuji? Like we know that all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada are so pure and serving. Yes, we know that a few of the disciples had fall down, they left the process and all. Could you please elaborate, Prabhuji?
Okay, I'm sorry to speak on this difficult topic, but I'm just repeat the words of my revered spiritual master. My spiritual master says that most of Prabhupada disciples, Maharaj mentioned 5%. He said most of the disciples are not in the movement. Most of the disciples they left the movement. So one kind of understanding is if you stay, you will become a pure devotee. That is one understanding. Another kind of understanding is also that in devotional service, when as we advance, if we don't become more and more careful, if we don't, we like his owner Ranat Maharaj says, if we don't keep pulling out the weeds, then yeah, we'll go to heavenly planets. We will, enjoy sense gratification. So we have to be very, very careful about that. I mean, in this regard, I'm sorry to say, but we had to be very careful in encouraging even Krishna conscious sense gratification or Krishna conscious, because what happens is when you encourage Krishna conscious sense gratification, in Krishna conscious sense gratification, Krishna is satisfied, ego is also satisfied. So then that ego satisfaction grows and grows, and then it becomes a hindrance later. So that's what we have to be very careful that Krishna conscious, initially it's okay, but eventually, we have to, His Holiness Chandamoli Maharaj mentioned that. So we have to be very, very careful. Like Krishna conscious birthday party is okay initially. Krishna conscious sleepover is okay initially. But as we go on, we have to come out of these things. Otherwise, basically the ego gets satisfied. And then later it's like, well, now my ego is not satisfied. It needs some other ego satisfaction. So, that is the thing. Yeah. But at the same time, yeah, we have to be very careful also how we present to people, how we preach to people, that they should not think we're fanatic. But for us, yeah, we should be the best we can be for Krishna. I
Thank
hope
you,
that's
Prabhuji.
okay. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, very much clear. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Mm. Okay, nobody else has any other question or comment. We will end. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhyev cha paritanam
Paritanam
pavanebhyo
Pavane Vaishnavyo Namo.
Hare
Anantakoti
Shyam Kishore
Vaishnava
Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
all
Jai.
of you keep that.